This is gonna be so fun. I'm really excited for this.
I honestly, I'm like nervous. I don't know how to like start this.
I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
This is weird. We're in two different shoes.
Yeah, we're switching positions today. You're on top today.
Wonderful. Let's see how this one goes.
Okay.
Welcome to Tea Tales and Talks, where we talk about spooky things, drink some tea, today some coffee, and try not to get too scared. I'm Mackenzie, and today I'll be your host.
Woo! And I'm Sarah. I'll be your co-host today.
And in this episode, we'll be diving into the spectral side of literature, exploring how ghosts haunt the pages of our favorite stories, not to scare us, but to reflect on grief, guilt, justice, and redemption. So grab a philosophical cup and join us on this journey from Shakespeare's tragic spectre to the wistful whispers of Susie Salmon. I'm
so happy about this episode.
I'm so nervous about this episode.
Today is a Mac episode. Yeah. I'm gonna give everybody a little disclaimer. No, not disclaimer.
I wrote it, watch out. It may not make sense.
A preface. We're switching things up a little bit today. And Mackenzie, who is our lovely co-host, is going to be our main host for this episode. Woo! And it's going to be so amazing and so fun. And let us know if you guys like our little change up.
Switch up.
Yeah. Switch up every once in a while.
Thought we give Sarah a break for writing all the episodes. All the scripts. She's done 12, 13 up to this point. I thought I'd do one. Take a little bit of this responsibility.
And I appreciate it. Don't be nervous. I'm excited.
It's taken me like 3 months to write this script. But
tell me everything.
We're gonna be starting a little easy and talking about why ghosts haunt literature. Mm-hmm. So ghosts have been a part of storytelling for centuries, from Shakespeare to Stephen King, but not just to scare us. Ghosts in literatures are symbols or motifs, shall we say. They often stand in for emotions, memories, or secrets that characters, and then sometimes the entire society, are struggling to confront. Uh-huh. Think about how often ghosts appear when something is left unresolved. A betrayal, a hidden truth, a tragic death. They show up when the past refuses to stay buried. In that way, they become a kind of emotional echo, haunting not just the setting or the environment, but the people left behind.
I think it's really cool, actually, because sometimes they use ghosts as it's like a personification of feelings, right?
Exactly.
Like something that you it's not a physical thing, but it's maybe it's easier to comprehend when it's tell me more.
Okay. There's also the idea that of ghosts as grief made visible in the stories like The Lovely Bones or Beloved. The ghost isn't there to frighten. It's there to process the loss, kind of what you're saying. These spirits don't knock on the doors or scream in the night. They linger in the memories, in guilt, and in the spaces the people once filled. Then there's guilt. Ghosts are often a physical manifestation of conscience. Characters who have done wrong or failed to act are haunted by what they have tried to forget. Sometimes the ghost is literal, like Banquo at Macbeth's dinner table. Sometimes it's more psychological, like the beating heart under the floorboards imposed the telltale heart. Either way, the haunting is a consequence.
I love the telltale heart.
Do you?
That's one of my favorite little stories. It's so cool.
So I'm happy we're going to talk about it a little bit. And we also can't forget how ghost stories change with the times as we go through history. In Victorian literature, ghosts often warned against moral failings or punished transgressions. Now in modern writing, ghosts are more of an emotional kind of being or symbol tied to trauma, memory, or identity. Yeah. They evolve with us, reflecting our deepest cultural fears.
That's kind of interesting. They evolve with us. I think that's a good...
And looking, especially going back through different stories like Shakespeare and then newer stories like The Lovely Bones. Yes. It's cool to see how they haven't gone away. They've just changed meaning.
It's the same concept, but it evolves in different ways.
Mm-hmm. So maybe ghosts keep showing up in literature not because we're afraid of death, but because we're afraid of what's finished. The conversations that we've never had, the forgiveness never given, and the truth that was never told. Mm-hmm. So that's where I wanted to start today, with ghosts not just as spooky figures, but as a mirror of the past, of grief, of guilt, symbols of all the things we try to leave behind, but we cannot.
Ooh.
All right. So I thought we would start with, I'm going to be a little selfish, my favorite. So we're going to talk about Shakespeare's ghosts, guilt, revenge, and all the supernatural.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I love Shakespeare.
Girl, I love it.
I love Mr. William.
Mr. Willie. He knew what was going on. I think the way that you can adapt it and like really analyze it is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think if it's done in the right way, it can be enjoyable. But I think in some classes, like English, being forced just to read it doesn't do it justice. Like, you need to see it act out. Like, it's supposed to be performed. It's not supposed to just be like read. So we're talking about ghosts in literature. Oh, we have to talk about Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
His plays are full of spirits, omens, and the undead.
Yep.
But the ghosts just aren't there to spook the audience. They're obviously loaded with meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with an infamous tragedy and a ghost call to vengeance. We all know the ghost of Hamlet in Shakespeare's most iconic Hamlet. So the ghost is of Hamlet's father, King Hamlet. I think I can say Hamlet like 10 more times in that sentence.
Yeah. Take a shot every time she says Hamlet.
He appears at the start of the play in a full armor, kind of glowing and silent. Right away, he sets the tone for everything to follow. He is not a peaceful ghost. He is a ghost with a mission.
Oh, yeah.
When he finally speaks, he tells Hamlet the truth. And I quote, "I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to the fasten fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away." Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 5. This spectral revelation propels Hamlet into a quest for truth, retribution, embodying the theme of unresolved justice. So, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Didn't know.
If you didn't know, you've had many years, centuries
to know.
To find out this information.
But if you don't, maybe skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. King Hamlet was murdered by his brother Claudius, who now wears the crown. He demands revenge. And by he, I mean King Hamlet. But here's the thing. We're never 100% sure if the ghost is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Even Hamlet himself questions whether it's really his father or a demon just trying to trick him.
Uh-huh.
That uncertainty is powerful. The ghost becomes a symbol of doubt, of moral ambiguity, you know?
You know.
Of the pressure to act and the fear of acting wrongly as well. Uh-huh. It forces Hamlet into a spiral of overthinking, which ultimately leads to tragedy. So in Hamlet, the ghost just doesn't haunt the halls of Elsnore. It haunts Hamlet's conscience.
Yeah. Would you say... Well, you're going to talk a little bit more about it, but would you say that there's kind of a linking thread between that and like the Telltale Heart?
Yeah, there could be
like an interesting, like something weighing on your conscience
and just like always there in the back of your mind.
Yeah, perhaps.
Now we'll contrast Hamlet with in Macbeth. The ghost of Banquo appears only once during a banquet after Macbeth has ordered his friend's murder. It's a brilliant moment of psychological horror. No one else can see the ghost, just Macbeth. Uh-huh. He's in the middle of trying to keep up the appearance as king, and that nothing is going wrong, everything's as it should. And then all of a sudden he starts like losing his mind and shouting at an empty chair and completely unraveling. Mm-hmm. Banquo's ghost does not speak. He doesn't need to. The silent presence is enough to destroy Macbeth from the inside out due to guilt. And I quote, "Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me." Macbeth, Act 3, Scene 4. Here the ghost functions as pure guilt. Macbeth got everything he wanted. Power, the crown. But Banquo's ghost will remind him of what it cost him. Mm-hmm. In that moment, it's Macbeth starting to realize that nothing he's done has brought him peace. And everything is unraveling. Yeah. So both of these ghosts, Hamlet's father and Banquo, serve as very different roles. One to push the main character towards vengeance or revenge, and the other shows him the price of his ambition. But they both represent the same core idea. The past never really stays dead. Shakespeare's ghosts don't just exist for scares. They expose the internal battles of the characters they haunt. They're psychological, symbolic, and deeply personal.
I think it's really interesting how, okay, like spookiness, love it. I do, at least. Like the ghost stuff, but all of the ghosts in Shakespeare are like extremely intentional and like you said, personal to the character who's seeing them. Like not just everyone, or like when Macbeth, it's only him who can see the ghost. It's like, because it's meant for him, it's like it's something, a reflection of something in him, right? So like that's kind of interesting. I wonder how that relates to like real life even.
True.
Like,
and like we'll definitely have like some people see stuff and some people don't.
Is
that a reflection to them, or yes, no? Do they actually understand their whole truth enough to see other things? Or
like there for sure are like vengeful spirits in real life, like unrestful spirits, but I wonder if there's also like I don't know, maybe more of like a psychological thing that's like you keep seeing something or you keep seeing someone because of something that you're feeling or like experiencing internally. Art imitates life.
Oh.
Or the opposite.
Okay, now we're gonna start talking about ghosts as catalysts for change, specifically in Jacob Marley and the Spirits of Christmas.
Yay.
As we're in June, so sorry. So, moving on from Shakespeare's haunted halls to the chilly streets of Victorian London. Sarah's favorite. Where another iconic ghost will make their mark. In A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, he doesn't just give us one, he gives us 4.
A Christmas Carol is my favorite. Okay, wait. The Muppets Christmas Carol movie is my favorite Christmas movie besides The Grinch.
I love it.
And I watch it every year. It's a tradition for me. I love it so much.
Like gift wrapping tradition. I have specific movies I watch when I'm wrapping gifts. That's what I mean.
I also just like the Christmas Carol story.
So he starts us off with the first and perhaps one of the most chilling ghosts, Jacob Marley. He's Scrooge's former business partner, appearing wrapped in chains, burdened by the weight of all of his greed and selfishness. I quote, he says, "I wear the change I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard." He doesn't just haunt for revenge. He warns him. He's a grim messenger come to spare Scrooge for the same fate. It's through Marley that we're introduced to the idea of ghosts as a moral guide, a catalyst for redemption.
Interesting.
Near the end of the story, the silent phantom of yet to come reveals Scrooge's potential fate. Quote, "Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these shadows of the things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only?" Each of the Christmas spirits, past, present, and yet to come, shows Scrooge a different truth about himself. These aren't just spooky specters, they are the mirrors of memory, empathy, and consequence. And through them, Scrooge is ultimately reborn. That's the power of a well-written ghost. Not just to chill the spine, but to warm the heart or change it altogether.
I think that's cool. I want to say, even in I feel like even in horror movies, ghosts, it's not just a ghost. Like, there's always some sort of deeper meaning to it, too. Like, somebody did something in the past, and this is the consequence of their actions. Like, it's not, obviously, yes, to scare people and whatever, but it's so interesting how it's, like, layered. There's so many meanings to it. It's not just...
It's an onion. And, like, the more I dig about, like, ghosts and, like, different stories and different, like, variations throughout time, it was, like, so many different meanings and so many interpretations. Like, even Western versus Eastern culture, and I'll talk about that later. And okay. But now, we're going to talk about a ghost with a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And I am talking about Miss Moaning Myrtle. Not all ghosts are, like, solemn and severe. Some are a little dramatic, shall we say. And we shall have Moaning Myrtle enter the scene. In the Harry Potter series, Myrtle haunts a girl's bathroom at Hogwarts, often sobbing, wailing, or throwing fits of ghostly angst.
Valid.
Teenage angst.
Valid. I understand her.
Yeah, right? I get it. I quote, "I wish people would stop talking behind my back. I do have feelings, you know, even if I'm dead."
Damn.
In Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Myrtle often serves as comedic relief. She also represents the overlooked and misunderstood. A student who died tragically and never found her place in life, and in death she continues to seek attention and a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Her ghost embodies the theme of adolescent isolation and the desperate need to be acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike many ghosts in literatures who seek justice or deliver moral lessons, Myrtle's haunting is emotional and deeply personal. She is caught in the awkward, painful limbo of teenage rejection. A spirit shaped not by vengeance, but by loneliness. Her presence reminds us that not all hauntings are rooted in revenge or remorse. Some linger simply because they were never truly seen or heard in life.
I think, you know how sometimes there's like spirits that can't understand that they're not people anymore, that they're dead? That's kind of an interesting thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But it hasn't like said
it hasn't, yeah.
Because they can see everything.
Yeah.
They just feel like they're being unseen.
Yes, they feel invisible.
Mm-hmm. Beyond her emotional and symbolic presence, Myrtle also provides key insights into the plot. She reveals the location of the entrances to the Chamber of Secrets and becomes instrumental in Harry and his friend's quest. Her knowledge of the castle's hidden corners and her willingness to talk when others won't adds both depth and function to the narrative.
That's true.
Myrtle's involvement shows that even the most seemingly minor and maybe melodramatic characters can hold essential truths. Her ghost reminds us that every voice, no matter how whiny or wounded, has the power to shift the story.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Right? Okay. Now, shifting the scene, we'll talk about a very different kind of ghost. One who narrates her own story. In The Lovely Bones by Alice C. Bold, Susie Salmon is murdered at the beginning of the novel and tells her story from the afterlife. Her voice is clear, tender, and observant. It's not vengeful, it's not frightening, but deeply human.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read the book or seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you're in for a treat.
Yeah, I'm
The
excited.
book starts off by, the first sentence is, "My name was Salmon, like the fish. First name, Susie. I was 14 when I was murdered on December 6, 1973. From her vantage point, in a personalized heaven, Susie watches the living, so that includes her parents, her siblings, and her friends, all trying in different ways to cope with her loss. She longs to stay connected to them, just as they struggle to let go of her, and that tension becomes the emotional thread of the entire novel. Susie's ghost doesn't just knock on the walls or rattle chains. She whispers through memories, through longing, through love. She is grief given a voice, not just her own, but her family's. She watches her father obsess over the man who took her sister harden against the world, and her mother drift away. She is present in their pain, even when they don't know it."
Yeah.
Another quote is, "Murderers are not monsters, they're people. And that means that we can understand them."
True.
Mm-hmm. Her haunting isn't just about justice, though justice is sought through the book. It's about presence. The spaces we leave behind, the moments that echo long after we're gone. Through
Susie.
That word always trips me up. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna be honest. Through Susie, we experience the weight of absence. How someone can be gone and yet still shape every part of life that follows.
Mm-hmm.
Another quote. Sorry, this book was really good for
It's
quotes.
okay.
"These were the lovely bones that had grown around my absence. The connections, sometimes tenuous, sometimes made at great cost, but often magnificent, that happened after I was gone." Susie's presence redefines what a ghost can be in literature. She's not just a specter of fear, she is a lens, a narrator, a memory kept alive. Her voice brings comfort and clarity even in the midst of horror. This kind of ghost changed how readers engaged with the genre. The Lovely Bones popularized a more introspective and emotionally grounded ghost.
Yeah.
Less about vengeance and more about healing. Readers weren't just haunted by Susie's death. They were moved by her insight. Her story opened doors for more spiritual, reflective ghost stories that deal with the trauma, justice, and identity in deeply personal ways.
Yeah.
Susie helps us see that sometimes the most powerful hauntings are quiet ones. The ones that do not scream or shatter, but linger. In silence, in memory, in the heart. Her story reminds us that being haunted doesn't always mean fear. Sometimes it means love that refuses to fade.
That's really nice. I like that one. It's kind of like it just reminds me also of like people's like wholesome ghost stories and things like that. It's like, it's not meant to scare you. It can also be like a nice reminder of like, I'm here, or like, I'm watching over you, or
Got your back, yeah.
I love you, like,
Hi,
look,
I'm okay.
yeah, I'm okay, or like kind of like does this make sense? Like a reminder of a memory or something like that? Like,
Yeah, like a specific
it can be
time.
something positive too.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily bad.
Freaky, spooky-ooky.
Spooky-ooky. Now we're going to talk about Toni Morrison's Beloved. This was a book that I hadn't heard of, but we're going to talk about anyways. Because I mentioned it has a ghost.
True.
So we're going to talk about it.
We're talking about all the ghosts today.
All the ghosts. So, this ghost is not just a supernatural presence. She is a symbol of historical trauma, maternal grief, and the inescapable weight of memory.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I was like, we got to talk about it. All right. The spirit of Scythes haunts her home at 1224 Bluestone Road. But it's not until the girl, beloved, arrives in a physical form that the full impact of Scythe's path become clear. Beloved is not only ghost of a child, she is the embodiment of what Scythe cannot forget. Her choice to take her child's life rather than let her live in slavery, the ghost forces the character and ultimately the reader to confront the lingering pain of generational trauma. Beloved presence is suffocating, obsessive, and deeply intimate. She is both loved and fear, ultimately a reminder that some wounds do not fade. In this way, Morrison's ghost represents the psychological haunting of slavery and the complex burden of memory that cannot be buried. The haunting is not about revenge, but about remembrance. The ghost asks, who has the right to forget, and at what cost?
Yeah, that's interesting too. Some things you have to remember. I saw a really long TikTok this morning, actually, and it was this girl explaining things about, like, the Jim Crow law. Why is it called Jim Crow? And, like, what all of that means. And she's like, we have to keep talking about these things because we have to remember that this is where this came from. This is what happened. So, like, maybe sometimes spirits are like, hey, remember? Like, this happened. We can't just, like, push it under the rug.
Also, a little brief synopsis of Beloved. It's a novel by Toni Morrison set in the aftermath of the American Civil War, centering on the life of Scythe, an escaped enslaved woman who grapples with the haunting memories of her traumatic past. That gives a bit more context to... Okay, back to The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. The Turn of the Screw is a masterclass in ambiguity. The ghosts, Peter Quint and Miss Jessel, may or may not be real. What is certain is that they do reveal more about the governess than about any actual haunting.
Okay.
I quote, I don't know what I don't see, what I don't fear, end quote. The story places the reader in the same position as the governess, unsure, suspicious, and vulnerable. The ghosts in this novella symbolized repressed desire, social anxiety, and moral panic. Rather than clearly supernatural entities, they function as psychological projections, reflections of the governess's fear and possibly her descent into madness. They haunt because something inside of her is already fractured. Here, ghosts blur the boundary between internal and external. Are they spirits? Hallucinations? Either way, they ultimately reveal the instability of the narrator and forces us to question the nature of truth.
Unreliable narrator.
In Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of the Hill House, the ghost isn't always visible, often in the house itself or the psychological unraveling of Eleanor, the protagonist. I quote, "No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality." End quote. Eleanor arrives with emotional baggage, loneliness, repression, a deep need for belonging, and the Hill House seems to respond to that. The more time she spends there, the more blurred her perception becomes. The house reflects Eleanor's psyche, feeding into her fears and isolating her from others. It's never entirely clear whether the haunting is supernatural or a manifestation of mental illness, but Hill House itself becomes a ghost, an entity that can twist reality, control perception, and embody everything Eleanor can't express. It's not just a setting, it's a participant in her collapse. This story reminds us that ghosts don't always come in sheets or chains. Sometimes they're in the walls around us or the walls within us.
That's kind of thinking about, like, are you, like, conjuring up the spirits? Or are they attracted to you because of whatever? Like which way is it coming from? Like, yeah, like kind of the push and pull. Yeah.
You, like, or yeah, are you pulled to
or
it?
I want to say, like, even like, sorry, I keep like bringing up these random things. It's just all of my thoughts.
No, you're good, lovey.
Like, we talk about those, like, the ley lines, and like being close to moving water is kind of a magnet for spirits and for like energy like that. And I think in one of the other episodes we talked about, like, do places that experienced a bunch of tragic events attract spirits and hauntings and whatever, or is it reversed? Is it because of
ley lines
where that location is that, like, all of the bad things are happening? So that's kind of an interesting thing in that story. Like, is it all of the things externally being attracted to her, or is it like a reflection of her internal world manifesting externally? Kind of cool.
So cool. Pet Sematary. What a book. It explores one of the oldest fears, death, and the desire to undo it ultimately. I also love how many times I said ultimately in this recording.
It's okay.
Let's, guys, tally it up. It's my new favorite word, I guess. When Louis Creed loses his young son, Gage, he buries him in a cursed burial ground with the hopes of bringing him back.
Okay.
And I quote, "Sometimes dead is better."
Yeah.
End quote from Pet Sematary. What returns is not Gage. It's something else. It's the resurrection is incomplete, a twisted version of the child that he loved. King's ghost isn't transparent or mournful. It's horrifying, wrong, and cruel. This is the story about denial. The haunting comes not from death, but from the refusal to accept death's finality. Louis's grief blinds him to the natural order, and that blindness brings disaster.
Yeah.
King's use of the supernatural highlights a very human truth. Love, when twisted by loss, can become monstrous. And that some doors, once open, can never be closed again.
We said it before, we'll say it again. Don't open doors that you don't know how to close.
Oh, girl. Keep them closed. Just keep them closed.
But that's an interesting point, that grief, we've talked about before, even fear, like those, like, really intense human emotions can kind of warp your judgment, even your humanity in some ways.
You like co-hosting?
I do have fun. I get to eat.
This is like, you want to do a podcast? I was like, I can go host. This is easy. I can eat and comment. Yeah, I can do it. Alrighty, guys.
Tell me about the Telltale Heart.
Okay, we're going to talk about ghost within. So, not all ghosts need a physical form, as in Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. The haunting never actually steps into the physical world because the ghost is inside the narrator's own mind. This short story is one of the most chilling explorations of guilt in all of literature. The narrator insists that he is sane, even as he describes the murder of an old man driven not by hatred, but by the man's vulture eye. What follows is a descent into psychological torment.
Yeah.
Quote, "It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night." End quote. After hiding the body, the narrator begins to hear the old man's heart still beating, louder and louder, until he can no longer bear the sound. It is the heartbeat of guilt, echoing from beneath the floorboards of his mind. Dun, dun, dun. Another quote, "It grew louder and louder and louder, and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, no! They heard! They suspected! They knew! They were making a mockery of my horror. This is not a ghost of flesh or spirit. It's a ghost of conscience. Relentless, internal, and inescapable." Poe uses auditory hallucination as a symbol for moral reckoning, a haunting that only exists because of the narrator's refusal to admit guilt for his actions. What makes this story so enduring is its raw potential of how the past, especially when denied or repressed, will always resurface. The narrator is undone not by a ghost, but by the memory of his own action. The telltale heart reminds us that the most terrifying ghosts are sometimes the ones we create ourselves.
Yeah. I love that story.
It's a good one.
It's a very good one. It's also, I think this is just like the common theme throughout all of these stories, is like, you can't, like the ghost, whatever it is, or the presence, it's like something you can't escape. It's something you have to face, you have to acknowledge, you have to work through.
Why lie?
Why lie?
Just be truthful.
The truth will out.
The truth will come out, no matter what. All right, we're going to dig a little deeper into the key themes of ghosts embody in literature and how these themes reveal what haunts us as people and not just as characters. Ghost is grief. In Beloved by Toni Morrison, the ghost of Scythe's baby is more than a lingering spirit. She is the embodiment of maternal grief, historical trauma, and the cost of survival. Beloved forces Scythe to confront her past, the horror of slavery, and the haunting legacies of choices made in desperation. Her ghost is not just a memory, it is a memory personified.
Yes.
Now, ghost as guilt and uncertainty. In The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, the ghost may or may not be real. The governess sighting of Peter Quint and Miss Jessel can be seen as supernatural or a descent into madness. This ambiguity transforms the ghost into symbols of guilt, repression, and a psychological unrest. Ghost is psychological trauma and spatial haunting.
Spatial haunting.
Yep, within space, haunting the environment. The Haunting of the Hill by Shirley Jackson blends the haunted space with the haunted minds. Eleanor is fragile, and the house seems to prey on her and her fragility.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
You said The Haunting of the Hill.
Exactly.
I love that one.
I love that one. That one's one of my favorites. Yes, The Haunting of Hill House. There's a house on the hill. You know? Quote, "Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within." End quote. The house becomes a character, and Eleanor's gradual psychological collapse blurs the lines between haunting and being haunted.
I love it when authors, writers, whatever, make like things, places, like the house when it is a character, like the scenery, the setting is the character. Like kind of in the Hawthorne series, like the house is part of it.
Oh, it revolves around it.
Yes.
All right. Ghost as the price of love and loss. Pet Sematary, Stephen King, the dead comes back, but they're changed. Lewis's grief drives him to resurrect his child, but what returns is something unnatural. King's Ghost warns us of the dangers of denying grief, of trying to undo death, and that the horror isn't just the undead, it's our inability to let go. These stories all remind us that ghosts don't come from the outside, they come from within, from memory, from pain, from love, and they speak to what we still carry, and even when we think we've moved on.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's that part in Practical Magic where it always makes me cry when Sandra Bullock, when her husband, okay, spoiler alert.
Another spoiler.
If you haven't watched Practical Magic.
Spoiler.
First of all, you need to do that right now. I'm being so serious. Don't even finish this episode. Go watch it and then come back. when her husband dies, and she goes to her aunts and she's like begging them to bring him back because she's obviously in so much pain. She's grieving. She like, it's like and they're like, we don't do that. Because whatever would come back, it wouldn't be him. It's going to be something dark, right? So sometimes you just have to like let it go. But then when Nicole Kidman accidentally, both of them kind of kill her boyfriend, and then they bring him back, they see the effects of bringing him back, and he is trying to kill her again. So like it's but then like throughout the movie, even with the like the detective that comes, like whether you try to like however you try to bury things, they're always going to come up.
They don't stay buried.
No, you kind of have to like work through all of that, work through the grief, and also like trying to change it doesn't help.
I just gotta confront.
Also, messing with things that you shouldn't mess with, not a good idea.
Bad idea. Okay, now we're gonna talk about ghosts across different cultures. So, not all ghosts are created equal, and traditions around spirits reflect very different views on life, death, and kind of like the afterlife and what lies beyond. So, in Western literature, ghosts often signal unfinished business, guilt, or warnings. They haunt with a specific purpose: to punish, to avenge, to resolve. From Hamlet's father to Marley's chained, rattling presence, these spirits come bearing messages. They're often tied to a moral or emotional reckoning. In Eastern literature, ghosts frequently embody ancestral memory, karmic imbalance, or spiritual disruption. In Japanese literature, yuri, I believe, are spirits who can't pass on due to intense emotions, sorrow, rage, or unfulfilled love. They're often depicted in white funeral kimonos with long black hair, lifeless expressions, more mournful than
malevolent.
Malevolent. That's it. I hate English. In Chinese ghost stories, spirits return during the Ghost Festival to interact with the living. There is a less emphasis on fear and more on respect, ritual, and familial connection. These cultural differences shape how ghosts function in stories as threats, guides, ancestors, or emotional reflections. While Western ghosts often seek as closure through confrontation, Eastern ghosts often seek peace through remembrance and ritual.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Also, I was thinking about like Dios Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and how
it's more of respect.
It's more about celebrating the life of the people who have passed and respect. But like in like Western culture where we live, like we don't do things like that. It's kind of like
sad.
It's a little bit more mournful, I think. And like I also think in like Western cultures, I think this has to do with religion as well. That's just my opinion. Like death is something to be feared, and it's like something negative. It's something bad. It's scary. It's like whatever. But there's some cultures that are like, actually, when you die, it's like super peaceful. Like you're ascending.
It's good.
Or you're not really like dead, right?
It's just the next step.
Even in like ancient Egypt, how they would bury people with all of their belongings and dress them really nicely to take all of the things with them into the afterlife. Like, I think that we just, narrow-minded.
Ultimately, what unifies them is their refusal to be forgotten. They're parts of us that linger long after the final chapters close.
I like that.
So let's open this up. Why do you think ghosts continue to fascinate readers and audiences across time?
Well, I think it's because ghosts can serve as a physical symbol of something that's unspoken. Like we said, it's like a personification or like a physical manifestation of something, like a feeling or like a feeling.
Unresolved emotion.
Yes, something like that. They're a way to make metaphors tangible. I think it's also easier for people to understand when you give it like a physical form or
something to look at and talk to.
It's almost kind of like that, like seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Like as humans, we have a hard time understanding things that we cannot that are not palpable, right?
In our face.
Yeah. Whether it's a guilty conscience, looming regret, injustice, or betrayal, they give form to feelings that we're not always ready to name yet. So it kind of helps us process the things too.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes them so powerful, but also like versatile. Ghosts can be terrifying, funny, heartbreaking, or also wise. They really adapt to whatever truth the story needs to be told or have told.
That's exactly right. Well, we want to hear from you guys. Do you believe in ghosts? I hope you do. If you're listening to this podcast. Or do you see ghosts as purely symbolic? Do you see them as something that we kind of manifest from our internal world? Do you see them as a hallucination, perhaps? A lesson?
Something to learn?
What do you think?
And if you guys have a favorite ghost story, real or fictional. Yeah, even fictional. Like, what's your favorite, like, ghosts in literature?
Yeah.
Or, like, why do you like it?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Send it in to us, guys. We're going to gear up for some mini, like, little bonus episodes where we read little listener stories. And maybe you'll hear one of your own little tales on a future episode.
You can email us at teatalestalks@gmail.com, any of your spooky stories.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go to our Instagram, teatalestalks, we have a Google submission form, if that's easier for you, to send in a little message to us. We're constantly checking, and we're very interested to hear your stories. Okay, let's recap this episode. So, ghosts in literature aren't just lurking in the shadows. They're reflections of our deepest emotions. They're about what we've lost, what we regret, and what we haven't faced.
Whether it's Hamlet's haunted indecisions, Marley's chain-rattling warning, or Susie's bittersweet narration, ghosts speak to us from the edge of the unknown, demanding that we listen.
Thank you for joining us, whether you're walking in the daylight or curled up with the shadows. We hope today's episode left you thoughtful and maybe just a little bit haunted.
And until next time, our twitchy witchy friends,
Stay spooky and don't let your tea get cold.